Good morning or good afternoon, Tigers. Today we're going to be watching a Quizzette video on 717. Please make sure you write your last name, comma, first name, the date, and circle your class color. Today I'll say that I'm yellow, and today is the 28th. Remember, the most important thing here is just that you write your last name, comma, first name, and that you circle your class color. So I chose the more difficult examples for Monday, number 1, 2, and 3, because I want you to get the rest of the numbers on the rest of the days fairly easily. So again, I tried to pick the more difficult examples. Hopefully the practices are a little easier. So let's zoom into number 1. It says, find a sum equivalent to the product -6, the quantity of y minus 6. So we're going to use the distributive property here, and we're going to draw our arrows. I want to see the arrows every single time you guys see parentheses with the number outside of it, or a term. All right, -6 times y is -6y. And now this negative inside can be changed to, that's subtraction, so you can change that to the addition of the opposite. So that 6 ends up being negative regardless if there's subtraction in between that and the y, or if there is an addition of the opposite. So this always ends up being -6. So we can bring down the plus sign now because we changed that. And a -6 times a -6 is positive 36. So you could have written this -6 times y plus -6. Or you could have kept it -6 times y minus 6. And both of them would have got you -6y plus 36 if you were precise. You have to be mathematically precise. That is the only acceptable answer. So go ahead and write SMP 6. Always be precise. And if you look at the other examples for Monday number 1, you don't have a negative coefficient, meaning you don't have a negative number outside of the parentheses. So here you have a -6. Here you have a positive 11, and on the rest of the examples, there shouldn't be any negatives out here. So nothing will change inside. So you can keep that minus, or you can change that to the addition of the opposite. All right, look at number 2. It says factor 10x plus 45. So these, I'm not going to lie to you guys, some of you are going to get them really quickly, and some of you guys are going to struggle with them, but we're going to do it together. So just look at the numbers themselves. So you have 10 and 45. You're trying to find the greatest common factor. So the GCF, the greatest common factor. So the GCF of 10, the GCF of 10 and the GCF of 45. So you're going to see the factors of them, the factors. So 10, what are the multiples that go into 10? We have 1, 2 goes into 10, 5 goes into 10, and 10 goes into 10. Now 45. That's really sloppy, but you know what I mean. So we have 1 goes into 45, 2 doesn't go into 45. 3, yes, 3 goes into 45. 4, no. 5 goes into 45. 6, 7, 8, 9 goes into 45. Oh, and look, 9 times 5 is 45. 3 times what is 45? 15, and then 45. So now what's the biggest number that goes into both of them? Well, let's see. 10 doesn't go into 45, so the only one that really goes into both of them is 5. So the GCF of both of these numbers is 5. So you're going to factor out a 5. You're going to take out a 5 from this expression. So you have 10x plus 45. Now you're going to take out a 5 and multiply two things so that if you distribute that 5, you get 10x plus 45 again. So 5 times what gets you 10x? 2x. Keep that plus. 5 times what gets you 45? 9. So another way to double check this is, what is 5 times 2x? 10x. And what is 5 times 9? 45. Okay, so then your answer is this one. It is correct. So your answer is 5 times 2x plus 9. So you just factored an expression into the distributive property, which is right here. Now, this is reasoning abstractly and quantitatively because it requires a lot of thought. So go ahead and write out that SMP. Number 3, it says add 2a plus 8 minus 4b plus 5. Simplify your answer. So this question is difficult because of this subtraction right here. This subtraction messes everything up. If it were plus between it, you could easily drop the parentheses and combine like terms. Here you have to distribute that negative because that's an invisible -1. So we have this negative right here. So you got to distribute -1 times 4b and -1 times 5. Nothing changes because in the first expression because there's no negative outside of it. So you could just drop the parentheses. 2a plus 8. And we're going to change this to the addition of the opposite. So then 1 would turn to negative. Or here. Let me actually do it for you. Oops. Where's my eraser? There's my eraser. So we have the addition of the opposite. So 1 is a -1. It's hard to write it, but -1. So we have 2a plus 8 plus, what is 1 times, -1 times 4b? -4b. -4b. And what is -1 times 5? -1 times 5 is -5. Okay, now I can combine like terms. So something I like to do is I like to box the like terms, the first like terms with the other like terms, and I like to underline the terms that match that term. So I'll show you what I mean. So I have 2a. Is there another term with the letter a in it? No. Okay, so then I got to leave it. Then I like to underline the next term, which is plus 8. Okay, that's just a constant, which is just a number without a letter. Is there another constant without a letter? Yes, that one right there. And my next term is -4b. Is there another term with -4b in it? I'm going to circle that one. No, there's not. So I'm going to put it in alphabetical order, and my solution is going to be very nice. So I have 2a, then I cross it out because I already used it. Then I have -4b, or you can say plus -4b. It's the same thing. And then we have to combine 8 and -5. So 8 plus -5 is going to be +3. Then I box my answer, and that's my answer. Okay, so for this one, you got to look for patterns and make use of structure. So SMP 7 or SMP 8 work here. As long as you have the number and the quote, you should be fine. Something else I want you guys to take note of is there's no negative between these expressions on number 3 for Tuesday and Wednesday. Let's see here. This keeps moving with me. When you factor, you just find the greatest common factor for number 2. Let's look at Thursday. I don't think there's anything I want you guys to know for Thursday. Okay, Thursday, just please make sure that you combine like terms. So here you have a B, here you have X, and here you have C. So your solution still has to have B in it, X in it, and C in it because you can't combine those. They're not the same letter. And then over here, you could drop the parentheses. There's actually a typo. There shouldn't be a parentheses right there. Go ahead and cross that out. Here, the parentheses, you just have to combine the letters. If there's no subtraction, you can drop the parentheses and combine them right away. Oops, I wasn't supposed to circle the -5, but you get it. All right, guys, have a good week.